Hernandez and Seth Keller.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome in. We got an action-packed show today. Welcome to the GX Fantasy Facts podcast. I am your host, Seth Keller at FF, the at-home dad. I got a bunch of guests here tonight because it is game night. I love it. It's always fun to play a game within a game about a game of other people playing a game. That's what that's what we're doing. And so let's go around the table.
What level of inception is that?
A good one.
6.
So let's go around the table. We'll introduce everybody, give a little bit about what you're promoting, what you're got going on. And so Shane, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Seth. Love coming on this show. I'm sad that Pat's not here, but this show will still be kick-ass because the other two guys that we've got on are kick-ass. So I'm Shane Barrett. You can find me on Twitter at FFShaneB. I'm co-founder of the Fantasy Collective. You can follow us on Twitter at FF_collective. That's KOLLECTIV. Our website is www.ffcollective.com. And then you'll find my podcast there, Fantasy Nightcap. I'm also a writer at Going for Two with Ryan. Ryan, wherever you are, here you are.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I want to promote, and then I'll shut up, is my fantasy football charity tournament, Polly's Playoff. So we are trying to grow to 240 teams. We're about 75-ish teams away. Before kicking that off, it's a $10 entry fee, super flexed tiered PPR run on Sleeper, and the donation or the entry fee goes straight to the Alzheimer's Association. So it is a tournament to end Alzheimer's. Thanks.
It's a great cause, and Shane, I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm happy to win it as soon as it gets rolling. So thanks for coming on, Shane. Up next, we have Jeff Johnson. Jeff, go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself.
What's up? I'm Jeff Johnson. You can find me on Twitter at JeffJohnsonFI. I was the former show host on SiriusXM for the Fantasy Football Fantasy Insiders for Roto Grinders. And been on a 2-year sabbatical from that because sometimes you just have to take a break. I might end up looking like Seth if I just stayed at it day after day after day. So I took a break, but I'm dipping my toes back in the water now. I'm excited to be back in. And honestly, what I think I want to do is create something on my own. So I'm going to get started up on my own, doing my own thing starting this season. So I'm excited to start that. Don't know where it's going to take me, but on top of talking sports, I mean, I'm also a dad. I'm not an at-home dad, but there's so much more to talk about other than just fantasy sports. So I want to focus on fantasy sports, but really get to the heart of what every guy has in common, which is a tough life that we all live and shared experiences. So that's kind of the goal I want to go with. And Shane, I love that you're starting your own charity event, and I'm going to be donating my $10 to Seth as well.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited, Jeff. You'll have to keep us informed about what you got going on because that sounds like a lot of fun. And Ryan, last but not least, go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, find me. Thanks for having me on, man. I feel like we've been trying to get this set up for freaking ever now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm over at the SI Draft Bible with Seth. We have our podcast on Tuesday nights, which is why we haven't been able to hook up yet. I literally just finished about 5 minutes ago and hopped on this. And you can also find me at Going for Two with Shane. Crazy enough, I've been on the website with both you guys for a long time now. We've never been on a podcast together. So I'm real hyped about it. But yeah, find me on the Armchair Fantasy Show Wednesday and find me on the SI Draft Bible on Tuesdays.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting that we actually get to it's so much fun to actually like work with somebody like behind the scenes and then actually get to see them like this. Like Jeff and I are in the same Scott Fishbowl division. And It's one of those things that's amazing about Scott Fishbowl that I was like, hey, my co-host for my podcast dropped out because of some last minute like family stuff going on. And Jeff was like, absolutely, man. Let me jump in there. This is what's beautiful about Scott Fishbowl. And Jeff, you're absolutely right in saying that. And shout out to Scott for creating that. And Shane, hopefully, people will be saying that about Poly's playoffs because it's going to be another great event, in its own right as well. So,
Man, I don't know if I want to get that big. That's a lot of people to manage.
That's crazy. Yeah.
yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you imagine Scott's inbox on a daily basis during the draft?
No, it's
Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
When you're 101 takes 4.5 hours to pick, and you have to shoot him a message.
I mean, I did.
Hopefully, he's not listening.
I did have to text to DM Scott because I had timed out of a pick because I was like, all right, I'm at a pool party. I'm not going to have my phone on me. I'm going to check my phone at 5 because by midnight, the clock should stop and I'll be safe. But the clock doesn't stop until 2 and I timed out at like 1:12. And I was like, Scott, I'm so sorry. And he was like, don't worry, don't make it a habit. It's okay. And I'm like, I just still feel bad because it's like, I can barely manage the league that I commish. I'm in a bunch of leagues, but I only commish one league, and there's like 10. There's 10 of us, and I feel like I could barely make them happy. He's making like 1,900 people, at least happy in some way with Scott Fishbowl. So
yeah, he's the OG commish for sure.
Yeah. Yep. All right,
Ryan,
so,
I also want
to lie. Did you guys have a strategy going into the Scott Fishbowl?
Yeah, I completely didn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was planning on going QB early and often, and I didn't take QB till round 3 or 4. I went round three. Yeah, I ended up going to start running back.
Who'd you get with your QB1?
Joey Burrows, and then fill out with Derek Carr, and I have no third quarterback.
So I'm gonna one up you, Ryan, because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah,
so
buckle in.
I went running back, wide receiver, and then got Derek Carr.
And then
no, Seth, you're wrong. You're giving yourself not enough credit here. You went running back, wide receiver. 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and then Derek Carr.
wow.
Did I get another wide receiver in there?
Yeah.
Because I got Jefferson and Ridley.
And Chris Godwin.
Oh, and Godwin. Yes, I did.
How big are your balls?
I can't remember all my own teams. I don't know how you're remembering somebody else's. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Well, because I went number 8, and
So
then Seth was like number 11, and I noticed this pattern. Kind of everybody was following vaguely the plan that everybody else follows, right? You know, it's a super flex league, so you're going to grab 2 QBs kind of early. And then there's Seth. I was like, what is Seth doing? Running back. He's going to end up with like Derek Carr as his number 1 QB.
Carr's fantastic in that. He finished like 8th last year in that scoring though.
Yeah.
So I went QB, RB, tight end, RB, QB.
QB.
Okay, say that again.
QB,
Yep.
RB,
Mm-hmm.
tight end, RB, QB.
I feel like everybody undervalues wide receiver.
It's
round
not
6 through 11 were wide receivers for me.
Yeah, I think I was round 8 or 7 through 10 or 7 through 11.
Yeah, I got made fun of when I posted my team because I have 7, 8, 9, 10. I have like 13 wide receivers. Like half my team's wide receivers. So I figured hit on the other positions early and take heavy dart throws.
Every dart throw possible.
High upside.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we could talk a ton of Scott Fishbowl, but we'll save that for another episode. This episode is all about game night, and tonight's game is Guess the ADP. And so the way it's going to work is this is based off of my opinions. I'm going to be giving the other guys here a player's ADP, and I'm going to be saying whether or not I think it's too high or too low, and they're going to try and figure out who the player is that I'm asking about. And the way we'll do it, I have a little spreadsheet set up where I'll be able to keep track of who's going and who's getting the points. And the way it'll work is Shane will guess first, then Jeff, then Ryan, the next player up will just move down, and then that way each time when somebody guesses a player, I'll give either too high or too low, kind of like hot and cold, and the next person to guess will get a little bit closer. Probably too much in instructions there. We're gonna play it. We'll work out the kinks. It's a good time for everybody. We'll have fun. All right, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'm gonna throw up what I think is a softball for the opening one. Okay.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
So,
You better get it, dude.
I'm thinking of a tight end who's I'm gonna go really wide here in the top 100 whose ADP is too high.
Oh, piss. Oh, Hunter Henry.
You are too high. Or sorry, you're too low actually.
Okay.
Hunter, you at Hunter Henry?
Yes.
Okay.
According to fantasy data,
I think he's outside of the top 100, Shane.
looking at the fantasy data ADP,
No, he is 93.
he's 93.3.
Oh, quick point of clarity. Sorry. When I say too high, it means that they're too close to 1, as in they're going in too high of a round. Too low, meaning that they're going too late. So this is a tight end going too high, too early in drafts. Okay, want to make that point clear. Yeah, you Shane are too low. The player I'm thinking about is much higher.
Okay.
Jeff, you're up.
I mean, I immediately, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, and I think of Kyle Pitts right at the top of my list.
Yeah,
I need to look at ding.
Yes.
Winner.
Yeah, dude, you need a ding, ding, ding on here.
Yeah. I wish I had. Maybe this will work.
Get the whiteboard.
Yeah.
One for Jeff. I mean, you're right. That was a softball. When I cringe when I see Kyle Pitts go off the board that soon.
Yeah.
It's hard enough as a tight end anyway. Now he's being introduced into an Atlanta Falcons offense that, I mean, let's face it, the Falcons are not going to compete this year. He might not even be tight end 1 on the football team. So if you're taking Kyle Pitts that early as a top 5 tight end, I think you're making a huge mistake.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. He's going with an ADP of 39.2. So just past that third round into the fourth round. And that is just way too high as the tight end 4. There's the historical tight end rookie performance. There's just Atlanta really, like, what are we really going to get out of that offense? It just makes me kind of, I think you said
Matt
right.
Ryan
It makes
isn't
me
very
cringe.
good without
Whoa.
Julio.
We don't know that.
Ryan, are you going to give the opposition here? Are you going to say Kyle Pitts is where he should be?
Oh, hell no. No, he's completely overrated. Well, let's be real. Like, I got crap for taking TJ Hawkinson over when TJ Hawkinson is a stud. Like, and I know what I'm getting.
Okay.
And he's on these team targets. No, he's completely overrated right now. He could have the best rookie tight end season ever and still be overrated for that 39 ADP. It's absurd.
Yeah, I think if you're going to target anybody in that offense, it should be Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
Yep.
He should be, or Russell Gage even. Like,
Yep.
you should, if you're going ADP of 39, you should be a top 2 tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You should be better. You should be as good as Travis Kelce or Darren Waller, like right there. That's absurd because you're passing on tremendous talent there. It's crazy.
Now that we're on this subject, though, Darren Waller, don't you feel like he's going a bit early? I mean, you're really drafting him at his peak. Like, he has to perform up to last year's standard to justify taking him that early.
Yeah, his target share is going to be crazy, though, because that offensive line's kind of garbage now because they've lost so many pieces. They lost 3 starters who were high quality, and Cards don't have to get rid of the ball quickly. So I kind of get it. Personally, I wouldn't, because I only trust Kelce if we're going to the top end like that and that high. But I get it. I don't love it, but I get it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Ryan.
All right. Next one. So this.
Do you want me to explain why I picked Hunter Henry or no?
It was such a bad choice. I don't think we need that.
No.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, we might come back to that one. Depending on how it goes, I might give you guys an option to give one in here too. But kind of related. So I'm thinking of a wide receiver Also in the we'll trim it down because there's a lot more wide receivers. So wide receiver in the top 75, that is going too low.
Wide receiver in the top 75 that is going too low. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Adam Thielen.
No.
I'm gonna go Juju Smith.
Higher, too low.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
You are too low.
Thank
Sorry, you're too low. And Adam Thielen is 49.5. So you essentially made it the top 50. Good.
So I'm going someone above him.
Strategery, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Amari Cooper.
Boom. There it is.
Yeah.
God, you're such a homer.
Wait, no. Amari Cooper's ADP is worse than Kyle Pitts. And that's the reason why they're number one and number two, because I saw Kyle Pitts, and right below it is Amari Cooper at 42.8. And I was like,
yeah,
what?
No, that makes
what? Why?
This enrages me thinking about it. Because I posted my top 12 receivers and I didn't have Amari Cooper in there. He's my wide receiver 13, and everybody ripped on me for it. But he's going at wide receiver 16, and he's a lock for 1,100 plus yards and 8 touchdowns. Well, I guess whatever it is for the equivalent of 17 games season. He's been nothing but consistent his whole career. Mm-hmm. We're drafting him behind Julio, who's in a new offense. I know we all believe it's great, but Mike Evans, who's
a new coordinator though.
Huh?
It's a new coordinator in Tennessee. I feel like I got shit on in some Twitter debate recently because they were like, Julio's in a new offense with a new coordinator. It's like, whoop-de-doo. I think because we were talking about Derrick Henry though.
But still a question. Mike Evans is touchdown dependent. Amari Cooper's good. He's completely underrated. You can't. There's not a person you can say anything bad about Amari Cooper as a football player. He's a solid wide receiver, and he's only 27. We act like he's old, and he's been nothing but good his whole career.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then why do you have him outside your top 12?
Because he just missed my top 12. I mean, it's wide receiver's talented.
1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns.
It's freaking good.
Wide receiver.
He should be in my top 12. He's just, like I said, I bet on a few guys on upside, but he's 13. Where anyone from 8 to 16 is a coin flip, and Cooper's at his value is fantastic.
Who's your number 12?
Oh, God. Luckily, I brought this up. I have running backs up for some reason because I am an idiot. Allen Robinson, my 12.
Allen Robinson.
The tough questions.
Huh?
Allen Robinson. All right.
I'll tell you the one that
We
really
could have a debate about that for sure.
The one that threw everybody off is I have Cooper Kupp in my top 12, and everyone disagreed. But
I don't hate it.
I kind of don't like it though.
I know.
Over Amari Cooper. I could easily take Kupp and move him down and put Cooper in a top 12 in that conversation.
I'm not going to argue. It's one of those things I'm not going to argue it. I like Kupp because I think the matchup with Stafford's great because we've seen Stafford feed his slot receivers whole career. We've seen Golden Tate with 5 seasons of 120 plus targets, and he can do that plus touchdown upside. So that's why I like Kupp in that situation. That's for Stafford. I've been anti-Kupp for his whole career. And this is the first year I've fully bought in because I like that matchup.
Yeah. And just real quick, back on the Amari Cooper point, the only people that I feel like don't like Amari Cooper are the people that have started him when he's had that game where you're like, where did he go? And those are the people that it's locked in. It's locked in the brain that it's like, no, I hate Amari Cooper because I can remember on December 12th of 2018, he put up 0 points. And if that was actually a day, I am impressed with myself because I don't actually think that is. But that's the mindset that leads to people making these bad decisions with a guy like Amari Cooper, and they think that he's inconsistent when, yes, he does have inconsistency week to week. But like Ryan's saying, over a season, he's consistent. And for the most part, those are outlier games where he just doesn't, show up.
Last year, I feel like was actually his most consistent season of getting you 10, 11, 12, 13 points per game. Without having too many 40-point games and 0-point games. It was pretty much right in that that slot. And I know, Seth, with you being a nerd, you probably have that information somewhere.
I do, but it's the one sheet that I use for it is so big that if I try and open it right now, that it's gonna like slow down the stream. So I'll post that one later on. Send me a DM and I'll post the histogram of all of Amari Cooper's games.
Median fantasy points.
Yeah,
I got you.
Median fantasy points. I'm telling you, we're going to start using it. All right. All right. Here comes the heaters. You ready?
Is there a scoreboard, by the way?
Yeah. So right now,
it's 1-1 0.
Right now, okay. Jeff has 1, Foss, you have 1, and Shane, you have 0 because we're only done 2 so far. All right.
Yeah, full transparency. I was going to guess Amari Cooper there, but I didn't want to take a 2-0 lead right off the top.
I thought so. I appreciate it.
Strategery again. Let him off easy, and then bring the hammer in later. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm thinking of a wide receiver in the top 25 that is going too high.
Wide receiver in the top 25 that's going too high. Oh gosh. He's 26.
This one's a tricky one.
This one is a tricky one. I think you're gonna go with Stephon Diggs.
Wow.
Because I think
ding. Good one.
I think we're taking this ceiling right now. He had the best year of his career. He's the perfect match for Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Like saying he's being overdrafted now is not a disrespectful thing. We're taking him literally. I don't know how much higher he can get, or like he's good right now. He's going to be in that 12 to 24 range, but I want to go upside there. So I definitely get it. But yeah, we are overdrafting him right now, even though I have him as like my wide receiver 3.
Yeah, and for me, I think part of it too is there is a little bit to be said about like team history. The Buffalo Bills have been the most run-heavy team. They were back-to-back years the most run-heavy, except for last year. All of a sudden, the script flipped, and what's going to happen is they're going to come back to somewhere in the middle. I don't think they're going to be nearly as pass-happy as they were. And that's what fed a lot of like Diggs is a good player. I'm not saying he's not, but I think Ryan, you hit the nail on the head that he's being drafted just about as high as he can go right now, and he's gonna fall a little bit because I think the Bills become a little bit more of a not run first, but a more balanced offense where they're running the ball a little bit more than they were. And it's going to cut into some of those targets that Diggs, like he had an amazing season last year. I think that's going to just be tempered just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying drop him down, three rounds or anything like that. I'm just saying if you're taking him as, the wide receiver 2, you're probably a little high.
Yeah, I mean, they added Manny Sanders, but like he's ahead of Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins, who are both going to get guaranteed 150 targets.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley, who we just talked about, he's in a great situation in a team that's on the pass all 650 times.
Yeah. I'm going to go on to say Calvin Ridley has 300 targets this year.
That boom right there, 300 targets, most ever.
Mark it down, Shane.
Mark
it down. 350 target more, 400 targets for Calvin Ridley this year.
1,000.
Don't make me tweet it.
All right, I'll play the devil's advocate on this one, even if we factor in a little regression, which I don't think is a guarantee, because with Josh Allen and his evolution, perhaps this isn't a matter of regressing to any sort of mean, but this might be a progression in Josh Allen's career and his abilities. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're a coach that's coaching, if you're on the coaching staff on the Buffalo Bills and you've just had unparalleled success that you haven't seen over the course of 20 years, why do we keep doing what made us successful last year? So there's a chance that even if you factor in a small bit of regression, you're still looking at 150 targets for Steph Diggs this year.
Excuse me. Yeah, and that's, again, I'm not saying that we should be dropping them down like completely. All I'm saying is he had 166 targets last year. That's not something that I think can be sustainable for the Bills like offense in terms of like the NFL changes a lot more than I think what people typically see. Oh man, am I frozen?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Bro.
It just looked funny for a second, but NFL teams change a lot more defensively than we see typically when we're like watching on TV and things like that, right? They adjust and play the chess game just as much as we think that we see the offense doing, right? And so the Bills, especially, and this is just me, I believe a lot of people go back to their history. They do have a lot of history with running the ball and being a run heavy team. I don't think they're going to go all the way back to that because that would be foolish. Look at the success they've had passing the ball, but I think they are still going to try for a balanced offense because that's how you keep a defense on its toes is by running a balanced offense. And so, even if I think you're right. I think if we knock a little bit out of Diggs, he's still going to be good, but you're drafting him as the wide receiver 2. And to me, that's way too high. Maybe not way too high, but too high. Too rich.
Is he in your top 6? I mean, DK Metcalf with ADP is number 6. Calvin Ridley's 5.
Yeah, I mean, I would take Diggs over DK. I think that's right about where it would be. So it's dropping him down a few positions and probably around because he's been going like towards that first, in that first round.
It's not stuff. He's my wide receiver 2, but I wouldn't draft him as my wide receiver 2. If that makes any sense.
Totally none whatsoever. Yeah. All right. It looks like Jeff stepped away for just a second, but he'll come back. We're gonna keep it going. So Shane, this one's gonna come to you next. Okay.
Great.
And actually, you know what? We're gonna throw a little wrinkle into the game. Okay.
Okay.
You can choose a position. I didn't do any quarterbacks, so don't choose any quarterbacks. You can either choose a position or you can choose a person that you think I'm too high or too low on.
Running back.
All right. Here's a good one. This is a running back in the top 25 that people are too high on.
I know.
You've got it? Shit.
Do you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I think I do.
All right.
Well, it's not your turn.
I know it's not. I got 2 people in front of me.
I'm going to go Cam Akers.
Wow, you guys are good.
That's exactly who I thought.
Yep.
Good stuff. It's because everybody thinks that now for some reason.
Oh, I've thought that for a while. I'm not on the Cam Akers train. Never have been. So, yes. Finally got a point.
There you go. On the board, Shane.
I feel like that could have gone to multiple running backs, though. I mean, I think Antonio Gibson's going too high.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch those running backs in that range at all.
Yeah, and that's
Akers, Gibson, Harris, Mixon. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to be a troll and go Mixon, but I was like, I'm gonna go a little higher and shoot at Akers.
Yeah, no.
Even Edwards-Helaire, I'm not super high on. I mean,
I am.
Be the number 3 option in that offense.
Yeah,
in the passing game.
I feel
he's
like
still going to get rushing touches too.
Yeah, he's
and
a lot
O-line
more attractive this year than he was last year. When people were like, he's now a first-round pick, gotta take him, Kansas City running back, and it was like, wait a minute, you had him as your sixth best running back coming out of rookie drafts, but now all of a sudden, because he went to Kansas City, he jumps everybody and becomes the number 1 rookie running back. Something's wrong with the process right there, and that's the issue. And I think right now he's a lot more attractive because people have soured on him, to the point where he's a late second, third round pick. And there, I'm not thrilled. I'm probably not taking him there just because of my typical draft strategies. Probably not taking him there. So I agree with you, Jeff. but he's a lot more attractive where like I'll throw it out there in a best ball here or there just to kind of spread my money around the table a little bit more.
I got him in the 4th in Scott Fishbowl, and I'm happy at that price for CEH.
Yeah, that's a great price for him.
I mean, I know we're talking about Cam Akers, and that was who your pick was. But I do think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a good talking point, because if you look at somebody like J.K. Dobbins, and we're talking about somebody who could take that next step forward, because there's opportunity there. I think Dobbins is the guy that we need to be targeting instead of Helaire. You know.
Well, so here's the problem, Jeff, and the only reason I know this is because I actually did an AFC North breakdown on my show last night. Gus Edwards is going to have 130 to 140 carries. Look at his last 3 seasons. His role is carved out.
Sure.
Lamar is going to have 130 to 140 carries at least, or yeah, probably more. So the Ravens, I think, only had 362 last year.
362 what?
Carries.
No, they had 555 last year.
Did they?
Yeah, Baltimore led the league in rushing attempts.
Yep. And JK had 134 attempts.
Okay.
But now he's going to have an opportunity to catch the ball a little bit more out of the backfield.
I totally, I get it, but I just want to temper expectations, because everyone's like, they're a run heavy offense. They're a run heavy offense because of Lamar. Like, Lamar is going to run the ball whenever he can. And that's, I'd temper expectations on that just a little bit for his rushing upside. Pass catching, I totally agree with you.
So I'm a Ravens fan, so like I'm fairly intended with it. Like with the Ravens, we do our projections every year. I have Lamar with 21% of the rushing market share coming in, Dobbins at 44, and Edwards at 30. A 44% rushing market share for Dobbins puts him in that, in all reality, 220 to 240 range with how much they run the ball.
Yeah,
and anywhere over that 220 mark puts you in that top 12. And if he gets himself to 30 catches, 40 catches in the season, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like, that gets him flirting with that top 5. And at that point, we're playing upside. Like, that's where we're at with Akers. But yeah, I mean, Lamar's going to get his. Gus Edwards has his rollout. If you have Edwards on the team, you're going to play him off of matchups. But I think J.K. Dobbins is set and forget him to an extent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this tells you how much we hate Cam Akers, because he was the guy we've chosen about everybody else.
I love Cam Akers, by the way.
Really? Oh,
I do.
Man.
So, like, we always talk about following the tea leaves in teams. And, like, when it comes to free agency and players resigning, follow the money, follow where you got draft pick. Other thing you got to do is follow what teams do when the games matter. So, when the Rams were in the playoff hunt and in the playoffs, we saw 21 carries, 29 carries, 15 carries, 21, 28, 18. Like, I'm following the touches when that team wanted to win the most, and the ball went to Akers. There's a huge talent differential between him and Darrell Henderson. And we've seen Akers do it the whole way through his career. He's a good pass catcher. He did that at Florida State. If you have any issues with that, they have the worst offensive line of all time there. But the talent's there, and if they're talking about it, they showed at the end of the year. They get this offense clicking with a quarterback who's never had a wide receiver under 50 catches in his career. Stafford's never had a running back with under 50 catches. Like, that's huge. That's why I have Akers at my running back 8. Yes, his ADP could be slightly high, but he has the potential to be there because everything is kind of aligning for him.
I mean, he did – in the playoffs, he did leave the game after hurting his ankle against the Seahawks. And I want to say he had another – I'm trying to, like, search for it right now. I want to say he had another injury during that time.
And he had one early in the season.
Henderson or Akers?
Akers. Oh, you bet
Henderson. Henderson left week 16 with an ankle injury. And I want to say he had another one that he like dressed for games, but he dressed for games hurt, and like that seemed to be the narrative. Now that could have just been the narrative, but it seemed like he was nursing an injury. So what I hear a lot of people arguing about is, well, when Cam Akers got healthy, Cam Akers took over. Well, yeah, but Henderson was good when Cam Akers was hurt. And then towards the end of the season, it's like, well, Cam Akers, Henderson got hurt and Cam Akers was great. And it's like, well, you're trying to argue that like Cam Akers is going to be great because he got all of this work and he looked great, but the other guy was hurt. And you're trying to disregard the inverse of that situation, which happened for like 8 weeks beforehand. And so I hear like both of those arguments from both like camps of Henderson and Akers truthers. And I think the reality of it is you're probably going to get, again, something down the middle where you're getting Akers. I think Akers is going to be the lead back, but I don't think that's going to be the lead back of Todd Gurley and Todd McShay. And this is 2017 all over again. And rah, Cam Akers is the next Todd Gurley. I don't see that.
We don't need that for him to be a top 8 back, though. That's the thing. Like, we're in an age now where maybe 3 or 4 backs get 60% of the carries. Like, Henderson had 1 game over 20 carries last year, or had 20 carries the most he had any game last year. And after that, it was 15. Like, he's never a workhorse back. He's a change of pace back. Akers had all these games with a ton of carries.
So
that's why I'm buying in on that.
So here's what I need you to do, Ryan. I need you to DM me so I remember to send this out, because I do during the season. I do a running back by committee article every week, and what I look at is, instead of looking at, well, how many touches did they have, how many attempts did they have, I look at percent of offense. How much of the offense ran through the running back? And so what I'll do is I'll look at those weeks and be able to put that together and be like, well, when Akers was hurt, did it all run through Henderson in the same percentage that it ran through Cam Akers? And that may actually give us a little bit more perspective on it, and also answer a little bit more of your question about like, well, who's getting this much work? Because I also look at the, all of the top running backs, and I put it at 30% for offense. And there's only, about 8 to 10 guys that take 30% of the offense. And those are guys like CMC. Zeke is another one that's always up there that nobody wants to talk about. I left him off because, I got my Cowboys thing up there. I don't want to be
Dalvin,
Homer.
Derrick Henry.
They're like the people that you expect to kind of be up there, and they're always up there. Gaskins was a surprise one, and another reason why I kind of like him, but he's not in the game tonight. But I think we went way.
Gaskins is not on the game today. Okay, all right.
And he's not. Oh, I gave too much. Yeah.
I'll forget. It's okay.
Yeah. We went way tangent on that one, which is also kind of fun. All right. Are we ready to get back into the game?
Well, the bottom line on this is like all that information is great, but it helps you compare one running back to the other. When the truth is, if you're thinking about taking Cam Akers at the spot you're taking him, you might have Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins available. So we're comparing running back to running back here, but I'm going to pull the trigger on one of those elite wide receivers every time, because I don't have to narrative them into justifying a second round pick on them.
Yeah. Yep. And that's true for
and an early second.
CH. I might throw Dobbins in there too. There's a bunch of those running backs in that second round that are very narrative dependent. All right.
Dobbins in the third,
which makes him a lot more attractive. But we're moving on. Ryan. All right. So who's up now? All right, Jeff. We threw a wrinkle into the game. You can pick a position or too high or too low.
I will pick the tight end position.
All right.
Because if I'm going to get it right on the first guess, it's probably going to be a tight end.
It's a good call.
All right. Give me 1 second, because I was like, I should add another tight end, like 2 more tight ends, but I didn't. But okay. Where did he go? Okay. I have a tight end that is going too low. And he's between 75 and 150.
Too low between 75 and 150. And it's not going to be Hunter Henry because, I mean, let's face it, when Shane said Hunter Henry the first time, your eyebrows didn't move. So that did not register with you. Okay, between 75 and 150. And you say he's going too low? I'm going to go.
He should go higher.
Yeah, you should go higher. I'm going to go with a Dallas Goedert.
Ooh, no, actually, surprisingly, I'm not that big on Goddard, but.
Oh yeah, you're a Cowboys fan. Look at that. the context clue there. I love Goddard this year.
I'm very hesitant on just about every Eagles player this year because that offense I feel like they're just going to be like a wild card, and unless their price is right, I don't want to run that gamble most of the time. I'd rather go with a team that I feel like I have a better understanding of where the targets are going to go, where the offense is really headed. And I feel like the Eagles, I feel like we're projecting a whole lot onto Jalen Hurts, and there's not as much to back up that whole situation. But that was way more explanation than we got for any other pick. I apologize. All right, Ryan, you're up. You are. Wait, where's Goddard?
Goddard was 85.
Yeah, 80. Well,
tight end number 9. Tight end 9. Without,
yeah.
I don't think Zach Ertz is going to be there.
So the player I'm thinking of is being picked after Goddard, and I think he's still too low.
I can't find flip through here. I might be too. Ah, shit, he's 161. Never mind. I was going to say it is Robert Tonyan.
That's a terrible bell. I need to come up with something.
So you need to know now.
Robert Tonyan. It
not
is.
For Robert Tonyan. We don't.
He's got Mike Gronk, and he's the number 2 target. Number 3 if you include the running backs in Green Bay.
Yep.
Whether Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback or Jordan Love, he's still going to get targets, and there's nobody else to steal from after Devontae Adams. I've grabbed him. He's probably one of my most best ball players right now. Love Tonyan this year.
I just want to know if Aaron is going to be there, man.
It's actually kind of contradictory, the last statement I just made and the statement with this one, because I feel like there's a lot of up in the airness with Aaron Rodgers, but I'm working with the assumption that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. If Aaron Rodgers isn't there, I might sour a little bit more on Tonyan, but we have a lot more time to figure that out still. But I still think he's being drafted way too low, and he's being drafted at 121, 124th ranked. Jeff, you looked a little surprised at that one.
It's not surprised. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. That's all. I mean, do we think he's going to repeat 11 touchdowns? I mean, 59 targets, caught 52 of those targets, less than 600 yards. So it's not like he's a deep threat at all. Obviously, in the red zone, Aaron Rodgers was keying in on him. But I don't think that's repeatable at all with a double-digit touchdown. So now we're looking at somebody who's in their 4th season, and you could project, maybe a slight uptick in targets, but his touchdowns are there's no way. I would say 6 touchdowns is what we could expect for him to project. And that's right around where he's being drafted.
Yeah.
He's being drafted as the tight end 13.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that feels too low for where he should be. Like he should be a couple tight end spots ahead of that.
There's a guy behind him who I wanted to guess. I couldn't figure out if he was the 150 or not because a lot of people scroll through. And Johnny Smith at tight end 16.
Yes.
Who is I'd borderline put him in my top 8 or 7. Like, he's going to be targeted.
And I mean, he is so
But I
physically
do love
talented.
Tommy.
They're going to use him in a multitude of ways as well. So, there's a reason why they paid him so much money to come to New England. They're going to use him in a variety of ways. He's going to have plenty of touches. I mean, he's going to block quite a bit as well, and that's a 2 tight end set now there in New England. But still, I mean, he's criminally underdrafted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's another fun one. I didn't do too many tight ends, so actually the 2 tight ends are off the list now, so no more tight ends. But he's another one that's like fun. But to Robert Tonyan, even if he goes from 11 to 3 touchdowns, the 13th tight end this past year was Noah Fant with 62 receptions, 600 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So I don't expect Robert Tonyan to go from 11 to 3. Touchdowns are very unpredictable. There's a lot of variance in them, but to do an 8 touchdown swing like that, I think is a bit much, especially when, like you even said, Aaron Rodgers was keying in on him in the end.
That's why. That's the only reason I think that it is. It'll be hard to repeat, but I think it is repeatable because Rodgers trusts him in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
He was key, like you said, he was keying in on him in the red zone. Probably either right behind or right around the same amount of times that he keyed in on Devontae Adams. So with that, I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of the air. But I'm a Packers fan, so I watched him call plays to get Tonyan the ball in the end zone at the line. So that's, again, it'll be hard to repeat 11 touchdowns, but I think it's possible. It's probably a ceiling. But I also feel like he kind of came on. I don't remember exactly, but he came on later in the season. It wasn't like he was the number 2 guy from the very beginning of the season. If Rodgers is the quarterback, you've got 17 games with him, and he trusts him in the end zone. For me, that makes it a little easier to see 11 touchdowns. Is it the ceiling? Yes, but I still think it's possible.
Yeah, and part of me is saying he's not going to be the tight end 3 again.
Yeah,
but you could draft him right now. He's the tight end 13, and he could finish in the top 6.
Yep,
and that's why he's going too low for me. And I don't think he needs to repeat the touchdowns. He just needs to not be a 3 again. He could be a 5. He could be a 6. He could be a 7, and that could be a possibility. Any more on tight ends? I feel like tight ends are so fluky, and a 6-point game, we're like, wow, yeah, he caught a touchdown. Good job. Good for you. And unless you have Kittle or Kelsey or Waller or one of those top guys. All right. Who got that one? That was Foss that got that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And that means Foss is up to pick again.
I'm up. Debating. I'm trying to think where you're more predictable at.
Nowhere.
I'm gonna go with running back.
Running back. All right. All right. For a nice, well-rounded show, we're gonna go with this guy here. All right. I am looking at a running back who I think we are too low on, and they are between 75 and 125.
75 and 125. Okay. Wow, we're getting really low down there.
I think I got it.
Cam Akers.
And it's James Conner.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one, though.
I feel like everybody in the world's been on him now. So that was.
I actually just defended him in a tweet thing the other day, but no. This one's even more interesting.
I hope this comes back around to me.
Where's James Conner at? Hold on.
86.
86. You got to go lower.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I got it. You better get this, Shane. I'm already ready for the bell here.
need a much better bell, but I'm glad you're ready for it.
I'm gonna go on brand with Seth and say Tony Pollard.
No.
Well played.
Where's Tony Pollard hanging out at? You went too
106.
low. You got to go up a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I already know who it is.
Oh, okay. Who is it? Because it's your turn.
It's Zach Mother effing Moss. It's gotta be. It's gotta be Zach Moss. Ring the damn bell.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Ooh.
Too high or too low? I mean, you're wrong either way, but it's Zach Moss. But.
You are too high.
Lat Murray.
Is it fair game now, or are we still going in order?
Not Lat Murray.
Not Lat Murray?
Nope.
He's at 114.
You gotta go higher.
Okay. We're running out of options here.
Zach Moss was too low.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't tell me it's I think.
I thought you said Zach Moss was too high.
Yeah.
Zach Moss is too high.
And Latavius Murray was too low.
At one, yeah.
And Pollard was too low?
Pollard was too low.
It's J.D. McKissick.
Which makes Lat Murray way too low.
Oh, God. I forgot that one. Son of a biscuit. See, I knew it was going to happen.
So it's between Zach Moss and Tony Pollard.
Is it J.D. McKissick?
I feel like that should narrow it down. It is not J.D. McKissick. It's the one guy that's going to upset all of you in this.
J.D. McKissick was probably too high, right?
No, he's right under Moss.
Yeah, he's too high.
Still too high. And you're up, Jeff.
I mean, let's face it. It's either Gus Edwards or Devin Singletary.
You got to pick one.
I know.
Ryan's just like, pick the wrong one.
Yeah,
the wrong one.
I want to win.
I mean, I feel like I looked at Seth when I said Zach Moss, and he gave me a look like that was the wrong Buffalo running back. You know? But I just feel like Devin Singletary is appropriately ranked right there. I mean, you could take both of those running backs and you're all right. So I'm going to go with Gus Edwards.
Incorrect.
Damn it. God, why do you like Devin Singletary so much?
No, just give me that 4th point, baby.
Is that 4 points for you? Oh, I'm going to have to doctor the spreadsheet. All right. Who is it, Foss? Because last time you didn't play within the rules, so.
Yeah, I would have gotten that. Devin Singletary. I want to give everybody else one more chance. My lead is getting too big.
It is Devin Singletary, and I think that it basically comes down to the fact that I think Singletary and Moss should be flipped, and that's just about it.
Zach Moss isn't that good.
Yep.
Neither of them is that good.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them are.
No, but Singletary.
If Buffalo wanted to take the next step on offense, they should have drafted a fucking running back.
Well,
or yeah.
Didn't they get what's his name from Miami? They got Matt Breida. Matt Breida for life. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what's a reasonable projection for Devin Singletary for you?
Just
ballpark.
He's probably going to have, I would say, about 150 carries, maybe a little bit more. I want to say he was right around there. And I think he's going to continue being it's not really like more consistent, but he sees more of he sees a little bit more work than Zach Moss.
I'm so close to you on that projection. 148.8 is what I have met for carries. Like that 150 spot on. And 44 receptions.
Yeah, I like the 44 receptions.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking he'd probably get around. He's been a little bit lower than that on his receptions, which is kind of interesting because I feel like people wanted him to be a pass catching back, and he's been, 38, 29 in terms of his receptions. But I could see him being around 200 touches and 1,000-ish scrimmage yards.
Yeah, I'm like 850, 900. Yeah, right there. That's fine.
And I think Zach Moss is going to be like 10% less than that. That he's going to be around 180 touches and like 900 scrimmage yards, somewhere in that. The big difference would be whether or not Singletary can finally take his next little step and score a little bit more, or if Zach Moss scores more. And I think, that's the variability that it's tough to pin down.
I mean, if you're looking at 1,000 total yards for Devin Singletary, if you really believe that, he's more of like a top 25 running back.
He's much higher. If that's the case.
Yeah, he's a number 2 running back.
Yeah.
Wait, 1,000 yards puts him at it. No, not 1,000 rushing.
No,
yards.
scrimmage. Yeah, no, 1,000 scrimmage yards puts him close to an RB2.
Yeah.
Or at an RB2. He's right. I agree with that. I think he's short of that, but it's in the realm of possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
We got Mike Davis above him.
Yeah, boy, I really don't like Mike Davis this year. I was hoping you would go with a Mike.
I like you, Jeff.
Mike Davis is like 80 spots ahead of him.
Yeah, and I mean, Devin Singletary in his career so far has done 969 scrimmage yards and 956 scrimmage yards. If what I'm saying holds true, and Buffalo runs the ball a little bit more, and if Devin Singletary has a little bit more of that workload, he should be able to pick up those last 50 scrimmage yards to be able to push him over the edge. Not somebody I'm super excited about, but somebody I think Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, those guys should be flipped in the ADP. Especially because Singletary usually gets work faster than Zach Moss does. And I can see it. I can see it in both of your faces. Neither Shane nor Jeff like that.
Oh, I was looking at something else. I'm not even gonna lie.
It might
I was
just
still
be
looking at Robert Tonyan stats.
It's kind of like when when you were in high school and there was like the hot girl in class, and then a new girl moved in that was like right there with her. It kind of made that hot girl a little less hot. So maybe my perception of Devin Singletary was he was the hot girl, but then they brought Zach Moss in, and now it took a little bit of the shine off of Devin Singletary. I mean, if he's going to get 1,000 yards, and you're right, this 2 years in a row where he's 900 plus, he's a top 30 back. Maybe I'm a little too low on him.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the show, guys. All right,
you're right. You're right.
That's all we came here for. All right. I convinced one person. That's what we needed. All right.
It was a convincing argument.
Yeah. All right. So let's see here. Should we do like a lightning round to wrap things up?
Yeah.
Try and get like 3 or 4 guys in there really quick.
No doubt.
All right.
Sure.
All right. So a personal favorite. This is a wide receiver that is going too low, and they are outside of the top 100.
Is this anybody can go, or who's up?
I think I'm up.
Lightning round. Fire away.
Laviska Shenault.
No. You are.
And you said so.
So this is going to narrow it down. You are too low on Laviska Shenault in the top 100.
Brandon Cooks.
Too low.
Boom. Brandon Cooks. Point to Shane. If that Houston offense,
They don't have anyone else to throw to.
Even if they can find anybody as a quarterback out there, the dude gets 1,000 yards and a healthy season all the time. The only season he hasn't been a consistent wide receiver has been his 2 concussion season, which is a little scary. But for where he's going outside of the top 100, yeah, give me some Brandon Cooks. All right. This is a running back that is going too high, and they are between 50 and 100.
Going too high?
Going too high. Yes.
Javonte Williams.
Boom. Shane with 2.
Good.
Javonte Williams.
That's because I know you love Melvin Gordon.
And not really.
You would love Melvin Gordon.
I've loved what Melvin Gordon has done for my fantasy teams, but I'm not in love with Melvin Gordon. Like,
You love the idea of Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I think he's great.
You want to take him home, but you don't want to take him home to mom.
Yeah.
Boom. There it is.
That went a little far, but yes, that's the one. That's where we needed to go with that. Yeah. I think just Javonte Williams is going to sit on your bench for way more than people think that he's going to sit on your bench, because he's not going to get the workload in the beginning of the season that you're going to want for taking a guy at the 64th pick, 65th pick in your draft, currently in ADP.
It's funny he's going right after Melvin Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Right after him. There's going to be a lot more clarity on this in a month, so we're going to get an answer really quick.
Yep. And I
think we will, and they're lying.
Yeah, they're liars. I think
teams don't do that.
Lying.
Never.
Yeah. I think Melvin Gordon is going to stay pretty much where he's at, and Javonte Williams is going to fluctuate a little bit more. But I think as they get to like week 3 of the preseason, which is usually where they have like the starters out there, it's the dress rehearsal, and people are going to see that Javonte Williams isn't in the starting offense there, that people are going to start fading him a little bit. But that's just me. All right, let's see.
But what if Melvin Gordon gets cut?
It's not going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. In a month, we will. Javonte Williams is either going to be a lot higher or quite a bit lower.
Yeah.
I just like to troll Seth.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting cut. That's just
He might get cut.
All right.
He might.
Two last guys that are personal favorites that are both too low. I got a running back that's too low and a wide receiver that's too low. We'll go with the wide receiver first. The wide receiver that's too low, and they are if you're looking at the actual ADP, they are going between 150 and 200.
Got to refresh my whole sheet.
So don't look at rank, but look at ADP.
Yep.
You're too low, and they're going between 150 and 200.
Too low. 150 and 200. Russell Gage for me.
Close. He is one. I agree with you, but not the one that I'm thinking.
Higher or lower?
Where is Gage at?
164.
He's going to give people problems this year.
You gotta go deeper.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
No.
That's my boy. I love him.
You went too low. You gotta come up a little bit.
Where's he at?
188.
188. Ooh, okay. Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore, negative. Where's he at?
Traquan Smith.
Watch your mouth. Whoa, is it?
Wait, you said Elijah Moore was what?
Where is Elijah Moore?
167.
167. You said it's too low?
You got to go
He's
deeper.
at 152.
AJ Green.
No.
Disrespect. 184.
Nope. You're on the wrong coast, even though Arizona's not on a coast. But you know what I mean.
So AJ Green.
Is
AJ Green
happy?
low?
Where is AJ Green at?
160.6.
You got to go.
Wait, AJ Green's at 184.
Yeah, but no, that's in the rank, not the ADP.
Yeah.
You've officially made it through an hour of this podcast looking at the rank instead of the ADP. And you're winning.
That's how I roll, dude.
It's impressive. I don't know if it's good for you or bad for us.
So
A little bit of both.
You got to go deeper. He's past 160. He's
Traquan Smith.
Well, I thought it was my turn. I went.
lightning round. It's fast. Whoever throws it out there.
Oh, okay. Is that the way it's going to be? So it's not Traquan Smith, right?
We're not deep enough. Gabriel Davis, stop.
Where's Gabriel Davis? This one might need to be the last one.
213.
Are you
168.
still looking at rank?
Yep, 168.
Keep going. Deeper.
Deeper?
Yeah.
Deeper.
Hold
Nelson
on. Was
Aguilar.
Traquan Smith too high or too low? Son of a bitch.
Nelson
Sammy
Aguilar.
Watt-
Jalen Rieger.
Now,
Terrace Marshall. Do it for the brand.
Traquan Smith is the closest so far, and he's too high. You got to go
Traquan
deeper than Traquan Smith.
I don't even know where
Oh,
Traquan
gross.
Smith is.
Deep.
Two,
So he's
181.
so it's between Traquan and Amon-Ra St. Brown is what you're saying.
Yes,
Wait, what number is Traquan Smith?
181.
Terrace Marshall.
Not Terrace Marshall.
Then Christian Kirk.
Not Christian. Christian Kirk isn't between those two guys.
Tyrell
No,
Williams? Jacoby
not
Myers.
Jacoby Myers. There it is. Who said it?
Jesus. Jeff said it.
My brain hurts.
What's the score right now?
I mean, I've got like 15 and something like that, 14.
I think that's game.
I feel like I was gonna do one more in there, but after realizing that Shane was looking at the rank the entire time,
No,
I think
it was
that's
Ryan.
I think
It was Ryan.
I think that's the
Same time.
game.
It was Ryan.
Oh, sorry, Shane. It was Ryan. You are 100% correct.
Does that make it better or worse for you guys that I won and didn't know what I'm doing?
I think it's worse for everyone.
No, I'm ashamed of myself. No joke.
Yeah, I feel like everybody is just so far off on New England, and somebody needs to catch passes, and he's the guy that's been there and doing it. And why not, right? Like,
I like it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a reason why you bring in Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith.
Yeah, I mean they brought
And Aguilar and Bourne.
And yeah, I mean,
but yeah,
You're too low on Kendrick Bourne.
but at 181,
It's a good dart throw.
that's what we're looking at.
yeah,
Yep.
Jacoby Myers is like Ben Zobrist. You know, you never want him, but
You're
put
fine.
him in your lineup, and it's fine.
Are you a Cubs fan, Jeff? By chance?
No, I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, but
Okay.
you know, I've owned Ben Zobrist in like 20 leagues, and it was always the same. And I always hated submitting the lineup, but he's not bad.
I loved him with the Cubs. So
Jacoby Myers had a decent like fantasy year last year.
Yeah.
And even though they brought in some help, that might just help the entire offense, or it may make them irrelevant. But kind of like the Melvin Gordon Javonte thing, we should know a whole lot more over the next month as training camp happens, as preseason games happen, as we get closer to September. We'll have a lot more information. And maybe Jacoby Myers, I go, yeah, that was bad advice. He's a guy that you're going to pick up off of waiver wires, if at all, and keep it moving. So, all right, guys. I hate to say it, but Ryan, congratulations. You won with a score of 4 to Shane's 3. Shane, I think, only got points in the lightning round.
that's not true. I got
he
one
just
before the lightning
Threw out a
round.
bunch of
Damn it.
names.
I got Cam Akers.
That's right. You did get Cam Akers outside of the lightning round. All right, everybody. Before we leave, one quick shout out, and that is to our wonderful sponsors over at Viridian Global, making wonderful shirts like this for the Scott Fish Bowl and a million other fantasy football t-shirts. Viridian Global is the dual threat quarterback of the fantasy clothing industry. Not only are their shirts stylish and look good, they are also super comfortable. I love wearing mine around. It's not that like stiff, whatever, like, how you get like a cheap t-shirt and it's not comfy. The Viridian Global is all quality in design and in comfort. So make sure you check them out, viridianglobal.com, and use the promo code FAQS, that's FAQS, and you'll save 10% at checkout. So one more time, we'll go backwards around the table here. Ryan, let the people know where they can find you, and we'll close out the show.
Yeah, I got this guy. What was the final score there?
4 for you, 3 for Shane, 2 for Jeff.
Awesome. Come find the champion of the show on Twitter at Foss534. You can find me at the SI Draft Bible. We have the TDR podcast on Tuesday nights. Find me at goingfor2.com, the Armchair Fantasy Show on Wednesday nights, and hopefully I get to come back and defend my title. Round of Champions.
I feel like we need to do this like right before the season also, and just kind of do like a look back at the ADP and like be like, okay, wow, my opinions were horrible, guys, or like, no, but they were great. Look at exactly what I said. These guys that were too low are now moving up. These guys that are too high moving down. It'll probably, again, I'm a believer in the middle. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle.
Wait till I learn how to read an ADP for next time. Y'all are in trouble.
You're probably going to do much worse.
I was going to say,
honestly, probably.
All right, Jeff, go ahead and tell the good people where they can
hit me up at Jeff Johnson FI. And after this performance, I'll be performing on Friday nights down at Shoney's, not doing any fantasy football things because that was terrible.
I mean, do we get to have a beer if we go to Shoney's? Because, I mean, that's
I just threw out Shoney's. I don't even know if they're around anymore.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Jeff. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, man.
And Shane, go ahead and let the good people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at FFShaneB. Follow the website at FF_collective and the podcast at Fantasy Nightcap. Thanks for having us on, Seth.
Yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Oh, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate everybody being able to jump on last minute like that. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, and make sure everybody gives the show a follow at GX Fantasy Facts. Give me a follow at FF the At Home Dad. While you're at it, give Pat a follow, even though he wasn't able to be here, at Dynasty_Pat. If you didn't get a chance to watch the show, make sure you listen to it over at gridironexperts.com, and you can follow us on any of the major podcasts. Leave a comment, leave a review. We love that stuff. And that's it. That's our show. Catch you on the flip side.